I demoed 3 of the most popular tennis rackets in 2025 to try to find my new baby. To try to find my new racket. I tried the Babolat Pure Aero, the Yonex EZONE, and the Wilson Blade. I've been using a Tecnifibre Tfight 315 since 2014, so I was thinking, it might be time for a change. You know, it's been 11 years, kind of crazy how long it's been. And, you know, maybe I can benefit from the latest and greatest racket technologies. So I wanted to give it a shot. So join me as I try out each racket, give my thoughts and impressions on each one, and ultimately, as I decide which one works best for me. See you in there. All right, so Babolat up first. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out here kicking it off with the Babolat Pure Aero 98. And for the week that I had it, I'll share my impressions and what I liked about the racket, what I didn't like about it. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I noticed was the weight of the racket. It felt like it was the lightest out of all of the rackets that I was trying out. I actually looked it up and they were all basically the exact same. So I don't know why it felt like that. Maybe it was just the swing weight or the head, the balance. I don't know the technical terms, but it did feel the lightest to me. And I know this sounds crazy because we have people like Alcaraz and people who hit with insane speed and topspin, but it did feel like it had the lowest amount of power. And maybe that's just my problem. You know, that probably is. I just don't know how to hit with this racket. But that is kind of how I felt. It felt like I had to put in a lot more effort in swinging the ball to be able to produce the amount of pace that I'm accustomed to. So yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. But it was kind of cool at the same time to swing really hard and my shots were still going in. I did feel like this racket out of all the others was number one in producing the most amount of topspin on the ball. So that was its strength. I feel like my shots are pretty flat overall. So yeah, this was fun to try out this racket that I was able to put so much spin with ease. So that was really cool. So I had a lot of fun with this racket. It was really cool. Like I said, I swung harder, put a lot of spin on it, and it felt lighter. I'm not going to spoil my end result. I'll reveal that at the end of the video, but those are my overall impressions. It was a very fun racket. I can see how players like Alcaraz gets so much spin with this racket. It is a very spin-friendly racket, and it's a ton of fun to use. All right, moving on to the Wilson Blade. This is the 18 by 20 version. I haven't ever tried an 18 by 20 stringing pattern before, so I was also giving that a shot just because I was curious to see what that was like. My first impressions of this racket, this one stood out. Like, this was my favorite racket from the beginning. After my first go around of all the rackets, this one stuck out to me. I really liked playing with this racket. I feel like I was able to have so much control over my shots with this racket because I feel like I've been hitting a lot of shots out with my Technifibre. But yeah, it was just so much fun. I was swinging hard, I was hitting the ball hard, and I was able to hit the majority of my shots in. So that was really cool for a change. And I know an 18 by 20 stringing pattern isn't supposed to have as much spin potential. It was supposed to have more control. And yeah, I mean, that is what I felt as I was using it. I felt very in control of my shots, even with putting a lot of pace and power into my swing. My shots were going in. So it was a lot of fun just ripping shots as hard as I could. After the first go around, this was my favorite. So much fun to use, and I couldn't get enough of it. The first night that I was testing all of these rackets together, this was the one that I went back to after trying them all out. I went straight back to this one because, like I said, yeah, I just couldn't get enough. It was a ton of fun, and I was seriously considering buying it. You know, after just one day, I'm like, wow, I really love this racket. It was a lot of fun. With that said, you know, as I continued to use it more and more throughout the week, I did notice that it did feel like I was getting a little bit less power on my shots. And again, not that that's a bad thing, because I feel like control is more important for me at this stage. But yeah, I mean, that was just the one thing that I noticed as I continued to play. Maybe that's why my shots were going in, because there might have been less power, less spin on the ball, where it felt like I wasn't hitting with as much pace. But by no means that doesn't discount it. Like, I was still loving the racket. It was one of my top contenders playing with all the rackets. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I think it's a great racket. It makes me curious. I really want to try out the 16x19 stringing pattern, because that's kind of more of what I'm used to. And I'm wondering if that would kind of help me feel like I am getting enough power on my shots. So maybe that'll be a future video where I can try that out, maybe try both of them out together to see back-to-back comparisons. But yeah, overall, really solid racket. I had a ton of fun with it. Ah, yes, the Yonex EZONE 98. This racket, for whatever reason, we just could not get on the same page together. I don't know what it was. I think I was just trying to rip every ball just because I wanted to see the power potential and spin that I could generate. But yeah, it was not working for me. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but I just could not connect with this racket. I don't think it's the racket's fault. I think it was a good racket. Like, I enjoyed playing with it, but I noticed that I definitely played the worst out of all the other rackets. You know, that could just be me, but that's just what happened. I played the worst with it. So those are kind of my thoughts. It felt similar to the Babolat. Honestly, yeah, they're probably very similar rackets. I feel like I was also putting a lot of spin on my balls. Pause. But for whatever reason, this racket, I couldn't hit the balls in as much as the Babolat. So take that with a grain of salt or whatever. That's just, you know, this is my experience, and can't really compare it to anyone else's experience because, you know, different play styles and such. But yeah, I mean, after my first round, I kind of felt like this one was at the bottom. Just because, yeah, like I just couldn't connect with it. I mean, I was hitting with spin, power. I definitely had some good shots in there. I just think overall it felt less consistent than anything else. I was very inconsistent with this racket, inconsistent power. I felt like I couldn't control my shots. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I mean, I feel like I'm giving it away, but I mean, I did not end up picking this one because I'll just tell you. So anyway, fun racket. I would want to try it again. But yeah, it just wasn't working for me at the time. Oh yeah, let's get to the good stuff. My pride and joy, Technifibre Tfight 315. I don't know if that's the heaviest one they offer, but yes, by far this racket was heavier than all the other rackets. So I looked up the weights of all the rackets, and they're all basically the same. They're around 305 grams each, the Babolat, Yonex, Wilson Blade, which is approximately 10.8 ounces unstrung. And my Technifibre is 11.1, so about 0.3 ounces heavier, or 315 grams compared to 305, so about 10 grams. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I definitely felt this racket is heavier, and with that, I felt like I was able to generate power much easier. So that's what I like about my racket, and I think that's why I've had it for so long. It's so easy to generate power, and I'm able to put so much pace on the balls. I guess the one problem that I've kind of had with the racket is being able to stay consistent and making sure I'm not overhitting and, you know, hitting all the balls long and out. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that I was looking for to try to fix in my game, you know, and that could just be me, you know, trying to hit with more spin on the ball and not try to kill every shot. Because, yeah, I mean, there are those times when, you know, a ball is coming at me with less pace and I just want to crush it, and I usually hit it long. So that's probably just a skill issue. But I'm sure I can figure that out. I don't think it's necessarily a racket thing. So yeah, after trying all of the other rackets, when I went back to mine, I immediately felt the weight. It did feel heavier compared to all the other ones, but it also felt like I was able to generate so much power. And that is so much fun. I just really enjoy wrecking the ball and just crushing it. It's a lot of fun. That's kind of what stood out. I really liked my own racket, and I still do after trying out all the other ones. You know, like I said, I did have the issue with controlling it as much. I felt like I definitely had more control when I was playing with the blade. But still, just such a fun and solid racket. I mean, I've had it for over 10 years and, you know, I haven't ever felt the need to switch. I mean, I haven't really actively played all those 10 years, but yeah, like every time, like I really enjoy it. So those are my thoughts. You know, I've gone through a few different rackets. I started out with a head speed MP, I think, and then I played a while with a head radical, and then made the switch to Technifibre and never really looked back. So yeah, I've really liked this racket, and after trying out the other ones, I still really like it. So yeah, moving on to my final decision where I'll break everything down and I'll rank them in order of how much I liked each one, give a little reason why. So let's get to the big reveal. Coming in fourth place is the Yonex EZONE. And like I've said, I like this racket. I just could not get on the same page with it. I don't know what was going on. I felt like, yeah, just couldn't feel that connection to the racket, you know, like the wand that Harry Potter picks, you know, he just felt it immediately. Yeah, never got that. So yeah, unfortunately, that is my least favorite out of them. I definitely don't think it's a bad racket at all. The racket just didn't quite suit my play style. I was just wildly inconsistent with it. So that's where that one is. Coming in at number 3, we have the Babolat Pure Aero. This racket was a ton of fun. I was able to generate more spin with this racket than basically any racket that I've ever played with. Just so much top spin on the ball, a lot of power. The swing weight, it felt lighter than everything else, so I was swinging faster and harder, which I think probably contributes to the amount of spin that I was getting because I was applying a lot more pressure on the ball. So yeah, it was a ton of fun. The one downside that I did feel is that I did feel like I had to put in a lot more effort to get that power, and I've kind of become more accustomed, and I like having more easy power, more effortless power. And I think that comes from having a slightly heavier racket, which is what I've been playing with for 10 years. So after playing with the Babolat, I realized, dang, like I do enjoy, you know, having a little bit easier power to my shots. So that's just what I learned about myself, I guess, about my game. I do really enjoy this racket. I think I could be great with it. You know, maybe if I force myself to play with it, I think I could work really well with it. But that's just how it ended up for right now, in third place. All right, it's down to the top 2. So coming in second place is, drumroll please, I can't. Coming in at second place is the Wilson Blade. This was a very tough decision, and I wouldn't say it's fully complete. I still feel like I need to give the Wilson Blade a little bit more time because I really like this racket. This racket was so much fun, and this was one of those Harry Potter moments that I was just talking about. This was the wand. It chose me from the very beginning. The first time I started playing with it, I noticed I had so much control over my shots. It felt so good. I was like crushing the ball and they're all going in. It was special. I really enjoyed playing with this racket. On that first night that I played with all of them, this was the only one that I was like, yeah, like I wanted to do another round with it because I enjoyed playing with it so much. The only reason this racket dropped slightly into second place is because the more I played with it, I did notice it dampened my power a little bit, and maybe I'm just obsessed with power too much. You know, you could probably say that. But yeah, that's kind of what was holding me back a little bit. You know, I kept playing with it. I did have a lot of control, but I was just worried that I wouldn't be able to turn it on when I needed to. So that was it though. That was like the only downside. I still really enjoy playing with this racket. And I came to the decision that I want to demo it again. I also want to demo the Wilson Blade 16x19. I think that might be the missing piece that I need to really pull it all together to get the perfect blend of power and control. So yeah, I'm excited. I think that that might actually change my mind and make me want to buy a Wilson Blade. So stay tuned because I want to make another video once I have that and we'll compare again. So it'll be great. And that only leaves one racket left. And yes, this was surprising for me, but it is my own racket, the Technifibre Tfight 315. Let me go grab it. I need to string this bad boy. But yes, the racket that I've had for over 10 years is the one that won. Crazy. I did not expect that. So why did I enjoy my racket the most? Well, probably because I'm the most familiar with it. That would make sense. But as I tried out the other rackets, I noticed some things immediately. First, that my racket had effortless power. Like, it just felt so good. I was crushing shots. I'm like, it just was nostalgic, I guess. Like, just so comfortable in my hands. You know, obviously, because I've played with it for so long, that is going to be something that is in favor. You know, it probably has a slight advantage. But yeah, I love hitting with it. Because it is a little bit heavier, I'm able to get more power on my shots without putting as much effort into the swing. It's a lot of fun. And then I'm also able to get a lot of spin. It's a 16x19. It just suits my game perfectly. The only thing that I was looking for to try to help my game a bit is for more control, and I kind of found that with the Wilson Blade, but it just sacrificed a little bit too much power than what I was looking for. So again, I want to give the Wilson Blade 16x19 a try to really give things a good comparison. So that wraps it up. Those are my picks. It was a lot of fun to try out all these rackets. I've been really wanting to try them for a long time. And yeah, I'm surprised. I thought my favorite going into this would be the Babolat Pure Aero, just because so many people use it. It's so popular. Like, I feel like it's got to be one of the most popular rackets in the world. I mean, obviously, we know the pros that use it. Alcaraz, Nadal used it. So many others. I just thought of Rune. So yeah, very popular racket. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed tennis, please like the video and subscribe. I'm going to try to produce a lot more of these videos. It's a lot of fun for me. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flippity flip. Bye-bye.